Mia, can you keep an eye on attendees, because I'm going to be focused on running my mouth.
Yeah, sure.
Great. All right. So we have, so first of all, welcome everybody. Hi, Disha, and this is the User Feedback Initiative team meeting today of myself and Mihai.
Yes, I'm here.
So today, Michael Dawson won't be able to join us. He is unable to make Friday meetings over the summer. So we'll go through. I have a few agenda items that really need to be taken care of. Before we go there, big shout out to Ahmed Nasri. Really excited to see Ahmed step up and take over the enterprise user focus. So, really happy for the work that's being done there. And, that group is really driving forward toward, actionable ways that enterprise teams can provide feedback to the Node.js project, can leverage the scale and infrastructure that they have in place to better assist the Node.js project. So that's really exciting. That's moving forward. Then Christopher Hiller in the tooling focus area is, that group just landed the some changes into Node.js Core based on the feedback that we got from the tooling folks, MakeDRP and some other very common abstractions, extensions of the FS module. Folks' feedback was, why am I including this as an npm module? This should just be a simple function inside of Core. And that was brought to Core with the help of Colin Ehrig, and really stoked about that. All right, so I have a couple action items and updates. In previous meetings, we have discussed evolving our end user feedback, or general end user feedback, into more of a meetup. So I have gotten that. Let me drop this into chat. So here's the link to the Node.js online meetup. And so that is set. We talked about setting that up for the second Wednesday. I believe that would be the 12th. So the second Wednesday of September is our target for our first session. And we'll probably go and just run a dry run there. That's going to be a fairly quick turnaround from here to there. So we'll lean on already completed talks and go through an iteration, get some feedback, and do that. The second iteration actually falls on the second second Wednesday of October. Actually falls on the first day of Node.js Interactive. So not sure if we're going to be able to pull that one off. That'd be fun if we could get together and do that at the event, but we also have to consider that everyone's going to be in the event and tied up. So that might not be practical. So I will take an action to, now that that's set up, my next action item is going to be, taking and, building the agenda for the first meetup. Okay, so next item is, that was issue 82. Just pulling in Ahmed. Hey, Ahmed.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Ahmed.
Pretty good.
So we just finished up an agenda item that I want to circle back and get your feedback on. So we discussed having our general user feedback begin to transition into a meetup. So this is issue 82. That meetup is going to be scheduled for, let's see,
September 12th.
September 12th. Thank you. And we're doing a 2 p.m. so 5 p.m. Eastern time slot. Trying to hit that sort of meetup time after work rather than during business hours schedule for an online session, and I've chosen Eastern time. We'll definitely be looking for speakers and talks there. I don't know if you want to maybe share a few words about the enterprise focus area during that. I probably reach for core team members, something from the ComCom, something from the TSC in terms of content for this first iteration. But this is also a nice way for us to do some awareness building.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. More than happy to share a few minutes about like the enterprise focus, and we'll yield that time to any core topic that would be more interesting to the public. Is it public meetup?
Yes. So online and public.
Sounds good. I like that idea.
Great. Yeah, the traction around general feedback just wasn't strong enough, and bringing some content, bringing a reason for general users to come and show up. Not everyone has an agenda, that's a solve for us taking that to the next level.
So for this, we have only one issue. So do you think it's a good idea to open another issue, probably in user feedback? So we don't know how many participants we have. It's going to be on Zoom?
It's going to be through Zoom, right? The meetup is going to be scheduled through meetup.com, but the actual meetup will be on Zoom.
So yeah, what I have in my mind, I don't know how the possibilities of the Zoom. So I don't know how many people there are going to be. So that's the only my worry.
Right. Well, so we tend to use the webinar setting of Zoom. not in its originally intended way. Like we invite everybody inside the house, with the webinar, and the normal way of the webinars that the attendees are in attendee viewing mode, and not promoted to be panelists. So I think we should be covered, but I don't know of any instances where we're really using Zoom webinar features.
I have a suggestion on that. I think from previous history and just looking that up real quick, Zoom provides 200 to 500 attendee limits. So that should be good from an attendee perspective. If we have a documented process or method for people to raise their hand and say they want to speak or ask a question or present something, then that way you don't have to worry about how many participants there are. They can be as many attendees as we want them to be. And only at the time when persons need to talk, they can just raise their hand, and somebody who's organizing can then flag them as a participant so they can ask their question or provide a feedback topic.
Right. I mean, the counterpoint to that is, our current sort of viewer pattern is actually not inside of Zoom. It's inside of YouTube. So we broadcast every meeting out to YouTube, and that's generally a good experience. In terms of consuming, sort of passively watching, but suboptimal for that asking a question, right? Our attention really isn't there, and we usually only circle back at the end. But I don't know that we're gonna want to, if we have 100 attendees and folks are raising their hands left and right, during a presentation. That's also going to get really, distracting.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess perhaps then it was discussed because I joined late. I do apologize. Is there an intent or purpose of having feedback from the community
Yes.
at all? Or yeah, okay.
Yeah. I definitely want folks to sort of bridge that gap and interact more. I have no idea if the end user experience of Zoom is any good.
So another suggestion or an example where I've seen a large collective like that could work. If you have hosting companies in certain cities that people can go to, so that way it works with the meetup style as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Go attend the thing at somebody's offices, and that's an easier opportunity for providing that feedback stream.
Nice. So, are you saying you're going to volunteer to organize an in-person setup at TELUS?
I shall do that. Yes.
That'd be fun. Or maybe we just partner with the Toronto.js.
Yeah, partner with the existing communities like the San Francisco JS group, the Toronto JS group, right? Like they're obviously going to be the right partner. You still need the physical location. Like there's no need to create another meeting group just for this, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, we already have an existing sort of multi-meetup network here in SF. So, we were, loosely federated, but, the Node School in San Francisco, Node School Oakland, and, Berkeley JavaScript Dojo, all work together, and, a little even looser affiliation with Waffle.js, where we're always kind of supporting that Brooklyn JS style meetup here in San Francisco. So this would be perfect. Yeah.
I found that to be successful in the past of other meetup groups that you're partnering with for them to publish the same event on their meetup group. So like people who are already subscribed for updates and already subscribed for events, they get that notification.
Nice. I like that. And I can 100% facilitate that with the SF Node one.
I can delegate it to the Toronto.js one. Definitely not my decision, but I can bring that topic to them.
Awesome. Great. Well, so I'll create an issue, and in that I'll tag both SF Node and you, Ahmed, with for Toronto.js, and let's see if we can get some remote groups dialing in, and we might need to test the display back of Zoom to get ready for that. Shouldn't be too.
Not sure what you mean by display back. But
sorry, the broadcast experience.
Right. Yeah.
Local setup. Just to make sure, it should be straightforward. Just a laptop that's broadcasting. You need audio out, which is usually an extra ask.
Yeah, that was the reason I was suggesting finding an event host as per typical meetup style, because usually they have either projectors or monitors or screens and speakers and so on.
Right. Yeah, we're kind of 70%. We intentionally in SF Node try to move around the city to different hosts, and it's about 70% that have AV capabilities, and then there's 30% where we're just winging it. So definitely need to make sure triple check that where we land has AV capabilities. Audio out. So do you want to take an action item, Ahmed, to document a little of the, kind of throw down a proposed, workflow for how folks can, ask for feedback? Want to take a shot at that?
Yeah, for sure. I can volunteer that. I have some existing examples I can lean on. Nice.
That'd be amazing. Cool. So I'll take the action item of, setting up the issue for the September 12th meetup. Then, Ahmed will, lay out sort of the first pass of how we'll encourage the interaction. And probably come back after this initial test run in September, and then do the documentation of what it takes to get the meetup set up.
By the way, we need moderation over here. So are you going to be a moderator? And Michael Dawson probably, I don't know. So.
Good point. Right.
We really need
to have MC or moderator, because those are actually both valid needs for this.
We need to have a moderator. So I don't know. In my opinion, it should be you, but.
Right. Yeah. So in terms of sort of kicking things off and getting things started, I was going to facilitate myself. In terms of moderation and so attendees can't spam, I don't think. But we're definitely gonna need that. We never sort of rate limit or really control or monitor YouTube. That's usually fairly civil, the YouTube chat.
Still, there are people. There are people during the day, so they have meetings, they have different things. So we need to have a moderator. So we need to have somebody to take track of time and everything. So
Okay.
And all the questions and yep.
Right. Which is really hard when you're, emceeing. So we'll definitely need to lay out some of that. Do you want to volunteer for this first one, Mihai, to sort of watch that, or is that something that while you're doing the documentation and stuff like that, you can feel like you can take care of?
It is hard for me from this point of view, but I think Michael Dawson probably can be one of them. So,
okay, I'm thinking Michael has a talk on an overview of the Node.js project and where to get involved. Yeah. So I'm probably going to conscript him as a speaker.
Okay. So speaking of moderation, definitely you are the best choice. So in my mind, so I can be the man from the shadow. That's all.
Cool. I'm happy to MC this one, and as is my general sort of pattern, I'll also look for other folks to engage and hopefully pass that baton around.
I'm not sure about Tierney, so probably he has a lot of things going, but Tierney also it's another best choice. Yeah.
Great. So I think that covers everything we need to discuss for the meetup. Let's move on to the next action item, the next issue, which is promises feedback. So we have kind of everything teed up to go and start a whole workflow around this. Lots of engagement, especially from the the folks that have been involved in postmortem debugging. Postmortem debugging for those who aren't familiar with what that means in Node, often is application crashes and dumps code, and your ability to sort of go take the core dump, reassemble the state of the universe, and make some sense of it. That has been the single biggest challenge that I've heard around promises, where because the abstraction of promises can hide some of the internals of the state in how that's being dumped out. That's been a challenge. So it's great to see kind of your both sides of the argument collaborating together. So this needs support from the foundation. We're going to need to hand that off, and unfortunately, I haven't had time to go and take this and run this up with Greg. Should be our Greg Wallace at the foundation should be our point of contact for this. So I have mentioned it to Tracy Lee, but since Greg is has been the primary point of contact for setting up a survey, we'll start with Greg, and then we'll see if Tracy Lee and the community team with Anne-Marie Tong can help us out with that. So still an open action item, and look forward to moving that forward. So next issue is, taking that and kind of applying that concept to TypeScript. So, that hasn't gotten as much traction, but I think that there's good long-term dialogue that can be had here. I'm seeing more and more folks, kind of taking TypeScript as, de facto starting place, which is really interesting. and others that are really kind of taking some of the Ryan Dahl's Dino concepts to heart and packaging things with only TypeScripts. So we don't quite have the traction there to prioritize that. But let's continue monitoring this issue and see if we can't support that. Then I have one last item that's not on the agenda, but I need to close the loop with Node Interactive about the enterprise user feedback live session. So Ahmed, I have you signed up for that. I'd love to have you up on the stage, of course, but beyond yourself in sort of getting a broader view of Node.js at TELUS, would you be comfortable bringing a contingent of folks from maybe 2 or 3 different teams to share their experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. We plan to have a big contingent of TELUS members at Node, JavaScript and Node Interactive, is I think what you should have said.
The plus is now silent. Screw it.
Yeah, so I'm just joking. It doesn't matter. But yeah, we plan to have a lot of folks there. I am more than happy to yield spaces for others to be on stage, especially if it's their first time. They get the opportunity to, experience that and provide some good insight.
So the live feedback session that we did at IndexConf with Joel Chen of Walmart, it was great to Joel kind of anchored. Joel has that purview of all the systems, and it was great to have Joel anchoring that. But in addition to that, having data science team and command line system team, some of the platform team members, sharing their differing perspectives was really enlightening.
Agreed. I think there's especially on the data science side, there's an opportunity to surface more presence of the Node.js community on that side of our industry that is not quite often talked about.
Right on. That'd be great. Cool. Great. Well, I'll follow up. Would you like an email to sort of track that?
Yes, an email will be great to keep that sort of going.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to sort of close the loop with the Node.js Foundation, the JS Interactive organizing team, and sort of finalize the list of who's going to be on for that time slot, and I'll send you the information for when we're on the agenda. Cool. Great. Well, that's the end of the agenda items that I have for today. Are there any other topics that you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, so a little bit. So because Vancouver is coming up on October, I think. So do you think it's a good idea to have somebody from different teams like enterprise and tooling, like speakers, and have a little bit of probably, I don't know, just have a slot over there. So.
Right. Well, so there are two different areas that we can propose talks. There's the community corner, which is during the event, and then there's the collaborator summit. So absolutely, we should have a presence there, and it'd be great to to have a spectrum of things, script document for yet another thing.
So what I have in my mind, so it's like in the last 6 months, right? The user feedback is growing. So that the only my point of, so it's enterprise is tooling, and right now, so all the other groups are coming from user feedback. So probably at least we can have a talk about that.
Yeah, that's good. And in Berlin, we had a lot of folks that really wanted to engage the ecosystem but didn't know how. So by providing that sort of anchor presentation of what we can do, we won't be sort of sideloading that as, oh well, you could if you want to go do that, you can do that. We'd anchor it with a an overview of what we do, how we can help, and where folks can go for that. I think that's a fantastic idea. All right, I'll take an action item to submit that to the collaborators.
Maybe we can create an issue and we'll have a track on this.
But create an issue on our side, and it also needs to be created in the summit repo on GitHub, which is where we're tracking the collaborative summit. So I'll put that in first. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah. Great. Any other topics? Go ahead and wrap it up here. Let me double check YouTube. Hi, Giuseppe. How are you? Great to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.